What's going on? We're gonna have some fun, do something a little bit different. My buddy Logan is gonna help me kick this thing off. So as soon as Logan gets in here, I'm gonna grab him. Ooh. What up? What up? Nice office, huh?
Hella dope office.
Yeah.
Love it.
We have an in-studio audience today. Come on, Logan. Waiting on Logan.
How much did that? Where can I find one of those? Like,
Where we at? What's up, Brian? What's up, Scott? Hey, share this thing out if you could. We're gonna do something a little bit different here today. If you've been kind of watching what we got going on, I've been doing these tags. I've been doing these tags. What up, Oz? So what we would do on a tag is come up with a topic, and then I would tag people in and put them on the spot. Put them on the spot immediately. They didn't know what it was going to be about. And somebody said to me, they said, oh, you're always putting people on the spot. Why don't you put yourself on the spot? Cool, I put myself on the spot. So that's what we're going to do with this one, is Logan's going to be the first one in. I don't know what he's going to ask me. I don't know anything. I don't know what it's about. It could be about anything. Who knows? What up, Dale Childress, master closer in the house. So I have no idea what he's going to ask, and that's kind of going to be the premise here going forward. What up, Chavez? Is after he's done, if somebody else has a question or questions, put me on the spot. Like, whatever. It doesn't have to be something messed up. Even it can. I don't really care. But just put me on the spot. Logan, I'm inviting you, bro. Waiting on him. No answer. That's weird. Now I gotta be that guy. Let's see.
it's the Wi-Fi.
I think it's LSVT guest 1234.
You got to be that guy, man.
I am that guy.
What's up, man? The roast of Eddie Martin. We finally made it.
the roast? No, not a roast. I mean, whatever.
No, I'm just kidding.
At least you get feedback on the roast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question for you was, one, I've noticed you're a person with a really good attitude. So this is kind of a controversial question: are salespeople born or made, and how do you keep a great attitude every day that you live and present yourself on social media or in person?
Salespeople are made. Salespeople are made, but to influence people is definitely a skill that I think that some people are more prone to it. Dude, your phone is texting me the same thing over and over again. It keeps coming. But no, I think that sales as a profession is a learned skill. I think that learning how to interact with people is something that you have to take in. Are there naturals? Are there people that naturally are better with people than others, extroverts and whatnot, and people that are good with people? Absolutely. But as far as if I'm understanding the question correctly, then the sales portion of it, I think, is learned. Because I could take somebody who has never been in sales, that is an introvert, and teach them a set of skills, and then apply those set of skills, and then fail at those set of skills, and then learn to become a salesperson. I got friends that never were in sales that are introverted that end up being great salespeople because they.
What about in your family? Did you grow up with any salespeople around you?
No, well, not by trade. Everybody's in sales, right? So
yeah.
I have a grandfather that is pretty much probably the reason why I have a grandfather. It's pretty much the reason why I'm in sales, and that's because he didn't take no for an answer, and he knew how to get his way and influence people. It was never used to make money. It was never used as a profession, but that's probably where I picked up on it. And being the youngest of three kids, I had to learn how to get my way and how to control the situation. So, yeah. And as
what
far
about your attitude? How do you keep your attitude on point? Attitude is everything, right?
Attitude's everything, man. Attitude was not always on point. Attitude was terrible. I was not a friendly person to be around if I wasn't in a good mood. I was very, very high, very low. Deal with depression and things like that. I think that my attitude now comes through life experience and dealing with the shit that I've had to deal with and When I say had to deal with, I mean shit I put myself in, situations that I created, educating myself on your mindset. And I don't really read books. Take in audiobooks, of course, but I can't sit down and read. At the end of the day, the attitude to me is having a negative attitude. How does that make me positive? How does that make me happier? I grew up around a family of negative ass people who everybody's yelling at each other, everybody's arguing, everybody's bickering and talking behind everybody's back, and it's just crazy. So I grew up watching the shit that I didn't want to do, and then I became the way that I didn't want to become, and I had to look outside of myself and go, okay, like, is this who you are? Is this the dude that you are? And the answer was no. So in order to do that, you have to change your attitude. You have to change your perspective on things, and that comes with recognizing when you're doing it. Because it happens all the time, dude. Recognize I'm being an ass and catch myself and correct it.
Right. So being aware of your actions, how you're acting, your body language, all that stuff, that really helped you improve your attitude.
Absolutely.
So how do you, like you're in sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you stay completely convicted on who you are and the product that you sell? Like, is there something that you do daily, or is it just kind of something that's ingrained in your head?
Well, I mean, I've sold products that I wasn't completely convicted or not sold on. Like, you have to be sold on your product to sell it. At this point with me, I'm just me. I think I've went down the road in the many different directions and been, not positive and not myself, to where now I'm comfortable with who I am. So I don't have to put on a front or put on an act. it is what it is. This is who I am. And for me, it's kind of cheating because I work at Lightspeed, right? Lightspeed is hands down the best learning platform that you could get in the market. And you don't even have to ask me about that. Grant Cardone, Damon John, Tony Robbins, Eric Thomas, I mean, the list goes on. Les Brown, Tim Story, these guys don't do business with guys that don't have the best. They got the money to replace you. They got the money to be working with the best. So even if I didn't know that it was the best, the proof shows that it's the best.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Do you agree with this statement to court attention at all costs, no matter what the attention is?
No.
Why not?
Because I think if it's at all costs, then that means even if you're doing something to create like shock value,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's the right way to go about doing things or getting attention. I think that if what I say or what I do, how I am and who I am, offends you, I don't have a problem with that. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Being myself. And if I get attention because you don't like me, I'm cool with that. But I'm not going to do the Richard Branson and roll down the street in a tank for attention. I'm not going to go the Trump route. I'm not going to blast the opposition just to get attention. That's not me. Although everything is calculated, nothing is done maliciously.
Right. So have you learned? I was just on a live that you saw with a couple other guys, Andrew and Mike. Do you believe that like the generational gap matters? Age matters? I mean, have you learned from millennials? Have millennials learned from you? Like, what's your view on that?
Well, I think technically I am a millennial. I'm 34, so I think I was born in 2, so I think I'm the top end of the millennial generation.
Yeah, it's up to 35. So.
Yeah. So I was just having this conversation with a potential client yesterday. He said, I want to make a product for millennials, and millennials get a bad rap, and Gen Xers, they're like this, and baby boomers are like that. And my answer to him was the same as what my answer would be to you, is it's just the next generation. It's just something different. It's just because of and obviously just my opinion, because of the way that the world works, people change over time, and the way that you have to deal with things changes over time, and the precedent that gets set, it changes over time. And you grow up in this, like my kids, my daughter's 15, I have 12. The 12-year-olds will probably be a whole different mindset when they're adults than what the 15-year-old is. And then you'll have the millennials or the Xers, it'll be the Xers, saying, oh, look at this generation, it's all computers, and they don't even know how to read anymore, or they've never seen a book or whatever. I think it's just the times, right? The times change, and people are resistant to change. So when things aren't going the way that they're used to them going, they point the finger and say, it's them, it's you, it's this guy that did it, it's because they do this like that. I don't think
Right. So it all stems from like, oh, they're different and we don't do that, so we're going to criticize.
I think so.
Kind of like an insecurity kind of deal.
I think it's just change, man. People don't want to change. They don't want to change. The guy I was having a conversation with, he said, I'm going to do a paper product. And I was like, why the hell would you waste money on a paper product? Well, you want to target millennials, but you want a paper product. Well, millennials don't really buy books and read. I mean, yeah, there's a segment that does. People read. I mean, millennials are consuming content and information, but they want digital products. They want, video product. That's what they're consuming. So if you're going to put your money into something, put it into something that people are actually going to consume and use. And I think it's the same thing. It's just, I'm used to it this way, and I don't like that it's this way now. Like, you can start a business. You're how old? 21?
Yeah.
21, you can start an online business. You already have a business, but anybody can come right out of high school, right out of college, in high school, and start a business and make money. And if you go to like my parents, you said, hey, could you start a business and make money from your desk when you were 16? No. So because I do it, then it's not legitimate that you can?
Yep. Well, I was always growing up told, hey, go to college, get a white collar job, they'll take care of you the rest of your life. And I was like, no, that's not going to work, you know? And some people say, oh, I'm young. I'm like, dude, I look at kids like Caleb Maddox, like Casey Adams. They're 16, 17 in high school and killing it, you know? So there's always someone that starts earlier. Just everyone starts at a different pace, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, some people have a good family environment that encourages them to do those types of things at an early age, and others don't. I mean, I was criticized my entire life for getting into sales because working for the state of California, working, a 9-to-5 job, being a manager somewhere, it wasn't the route for me. Yeah.
Well, at what point did you know that? Like, what point kind of clicked with you? Like, hey, I don't want to do this.
Probably I took an inside sales job when I was 21, I think. And they fired the sales guy. One of the sales guys got fired, and I asked for the job. And they were in awe that I would even ask for the job because I wasn't qualified. I think at that point I knew that what I was willing to do was a lot different than what other people were willing to do. And I was watching these people making great money while I'm sitting there making 30 grand a year, and they're making, a 6-figure income. What makes them better than me? Nothing. I communicate just as well. I'm just as polite. I'm just as friendly. I'm just as assertive. So why shouldn't I be doing the same thing as they are? So I guess it was whatever you can do, I can do. And because communication's always been something very simple for me, that just went. That's just how it went.
So you started basically trading results for money instead of your time. That's kind of what appealed to you?
Yes.
Yeah. See, on the last live I was on, this guy Andrew was talking about the lemonade stand. And and then you try to go get a job. And the same thing kind of happened with me. Like, I would go out and clean cars for my neighbors at 14. And I tried to get a job. I was like, this isn't worth it. I don't want to trade my time for money. Time's precious. You can't buy it back. So I think that was the biggest thing for me. And then it was like, there's no going back to an hourly job after you do something like you did or what I did, or a lot of other people, salespeople get in and then, they burn out or whatever, and they try to go work an hourly job. It just doesn't work out for them because, you might agree with this, but their mind's been sculpted in a different, reward driven way,
Well, I think it's a reward driven way. And I think that it's also, it's time freedom. If you're not working for yourself, you're in sales, you basically work for yourself through something else, but you dictate when you do something, how you do something, and what the result is. So if you want to not go prospect today or whatever, you can go hit the golf course. You just know that I'm not going to make any sales today, but you get to make a decision and decide that. So I'm of the 24/7 work your freaking face off, like don't have any fun type person. I'm not. I don't want to come up for air in 5 years and be like, that's 5 years of experience in life and stuff outside of money that I didn't get to experience.
Yeah.
I would much rather work my ass off and have a freaking fantastic time doing it.
Right. So you have more of a both mindset. Like you gave the golf court example. Like I would go to the golf course, but with a potential client, you know, kill two birds with one stone. A lot of people don't realize they don't have to just pick one. You can have both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would go to the golf course when I used to play. I don't really play anymore, but when I used to play, I'd go to the course by myself. They're not going to, for the most part, you're not just going to walk out on the course alone. They're going to pair you with somebody. So I would immediately build some sort of relationship, whether that was business or not, was another story. But it didn't always work out where I had a potential client that I could say, hey, let's go golf. Like those are great. I mean, great relationships are built at the bar, on the golf course. I mean, when people are letting their guard down and being vulnerable and being human, that's when like real relationships get built. And that, I mean, that's just my opinion. Hey, I just want to thank everybody for being in here. If you haven't shared it, please share it out. If you don't know what this is a reverse tag. So instead of me putting you on the spot, you put me on the spot. Now I am going to ask you one question.
Yeah.
So, because I can't help it, but so what was it about that post that I put up? Because you're the only person that commented and said, yeah, dude, let's do that.
Yeah.
What was it? Why?
Because it was different. I haven't seen it before. First time I saw the tag deal, you were doing it. And I don't know, dude. I just like people who come up with new stuff that you know, draws attention, which gives me more of an opportunity to provide value to a new audience, you know? So that's what I really liked about it. And yeah, I got the tag idea from you. It's freaking awesome. I've been trying it out last couple weeks, and it's a really good way to connect with different people. And you know, what I do like about it is when you do add someone in, it actually automatically tags them. So if you get 5 people in, that goes to 5 different people's audiences, which now are going to know you, you know, because it's kind of like a, you know, power through connection kind of thing. You know what I mean? Through association.
Yeah.
So that's what I liked about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That whole thing, that tag thing spawned off. I won't take full credit. It was something that I was about to start doing. And
Yeah.
coincidentally, Claudia called me, or I think I added somebody in a video, and it wasn't the intention to like turn it into a thing. And Claudia was like, hey, I was thinking about doing the same thing. Claudia Steppen, if you guys don't know Claudia, she's awesome.
Yeah.
Claudia said, I was just thinking about doing the same exact thing. We should do it together tomorrow, and then we'll like hashtag it, hashtag tag, and then I guarantee you more people will start doing it. And I was like, yeah, for sure. So we did it, and now you see.
Yeah. It just leave it up to the OG millennial like yourself.
The OG millennial.
Yeah.
Everything that I've done on social media has been completely random, completely spur of the moment. Break Free Go Live started because I had an idea and just threw it out there. Like, throw it out there. Maybe nobody likes it. Like yesterday, I threw that out there. You're the only one that commented on it. Some people might be like, oh, well, nobody wants to do this. But then the question is why? But for me,
well, they'll have too many questions, dude. Just commit and freaking figure it out later, you know?
Exactly. And well, Logan's the only one that sees the benefit in doing something like this.
Right. And it's fun, man. You're a great guy.
Yeah.
I don't really have any more questions other than how much change. One last question. How much change have you seen in your life since you started presenting yourself in a positive, professional, and outgoing way on social media? Like what's changed for you within the last year or two?
So in reference to specifically social media, okay, so I was not on social media a year ago. I had a Facebook account. I had deleted it or deactivated it or whatever. And I read 10X. I didn't read it. I listened to it. Mm-hmm. And one thing stuck out. Nobody knows you, right? So build a network of like-minded people. Nobody knows you. Put yourself out there. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to put myself out there. And from the get-go, it's all been positive because that's who I am. I'm not a positive person. I'm a realist. If it sucks, it sucks. Like when somebody says, you know, I lost 50 grand in this deal, but I learned a good lesson. Fuck that. You lost 50 grand.
Yeah.
And I would rather have learned the lesson without losing the 50 grand. But that's beside the point. I'm diverting.
You would have had him lose 50 grand and you learned from it.
I'd rather watch somebody lose it. I mean, you don't get the feeling, but
yeah, learn from others' mistakes.
I get it, but just acknowledge that it's a shitty situation and don't try to like angle it or view it through a lens that everything is great. It is. Right. It's still, that still sucks. Like, it doesn't make it good. And people argue with me all day long about that. I don't really care. But, so everything has changed, dude. Everything has changed since I got on social media. I had no idea that anybody would give a shit about what I would have to say. Anything, like even like from the first couple posts I put up, just expressing how I felt at the moment. Because all of my posts, it's not like, I mean, some stuff I'll write down, like, oh, that's a good idea, I'll use it later. Most of it's just spur of the moment, like, this is what I'm thinking right now. Boom, throw it out there. Who else is thinking that? And then to realize that there was this like-minded community around me and starting to understand that maybe I'm in a different place than a lot of the people that were getting in the network, and that they could actually, they felt like they could learn something from me. I had a really hard time with that because I don't think you should take advice from me, because I don't think you should take advice from people who don't have all the results that you want. But then I had to start thinking like, okay, I have a lot of results that people do want. It's just that my own personal issue with the results that I have, I feel like you shouldn't listen to me. But the truth is that, you know, you should, if you need to. But it changed everything. All my closest friends, I've all met through social media. I shouldn't say all. I got 2 buddies that I didn't meet through social media that I've been friends with for years that are like my closest friends. Aside from that, my network, all the people, I mean, look at Home of the Hustle. Jake, Frank, and Lawrence and Justin, like none of us knew each other. Break Free Go Live, there's 1,000 people in there now. There's a network of people that have helped each other and are continuing to grow and do different things. It's just been crazy to watch. I didn't expect any of it, and it literally did change the trajectory of my life. I wanted to get the attention of somebody who could make a big change, that could blow me up. And without going through the whole story, I now live in Las Vegas and work for Brad. So I would say that social media changed my life.
Yeah, it's almost like I started doing it about a year and a half ago too. And it's almost like, why wasn't I doing this 5 years ago? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think if I was doing it 5 years ago, I would have screwed it up. I would say that. I would have screwed it up because I would have been like, I'm super sarcastic. Like, with my, like, I'll make inappropriate jokes that probably shouldn't be said out loud, and I think it's hilarious. And 5 years ago, I probably would have put that out on social, and, you know, I put everything out, but I'm not going to make a dirty joke or anything, you know, publicly, just because that's not tasteful. That's very.
Well, yeah. I mean, you come off as pretty blunt and direct, but there's nothing wrong with that. All you're going to do is attract people that are like that too. So
yeah.
And if they don't like you, so what? Block me, whatever. You know, I've had a lot of people do that to me, and all you do is just you gain a new audience, and you don't want the people that aren't going to interact with you anyway there. So they're doing you a favor, you know. So that's kind of my way of weeding people out, is just increasing the realist notch, if you will, and it kind of, you know, blows the other people out of the water and brings new people in. So yeah.
You could delete your whole Facebook right now and have a whole new crew of people because you know exactly.
That happened to me about this time last year, and I was devastated. I was like, oh my God, all my pictures, all my posts, and then I was back at it again, you know, a month later, with some of the same friends. But you know, it was good. So yeah, you know, we just got to use it as a resource. You know, that's what it is. A lot of people use it as distraction. A lot of my old friends deleted theirs, and I'm like, well, it's because you're not using it as a tool. You know, like guys like Thomas Edison or freaking, you know, Albert Einstein, Henry Ford, they would have wanted a tool like this, you know, back when they were around. You know, that's why they were so lonely. It's like back then, it's like, how do I find people like me? And nowadays, you press one button and we're talking to 10 people and each other at the same time. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and that kind of will go right back to your question about the generational gaps, right? You'll hear people that are older, maybe Gen X and above, talk about how stupid social media is and it's a waste of time and this and that. Maybe for you, man, but it hasn't been for me. It's been a game changer because, like, I can use a hammer as a hammer, but I can't use it as a screwdriver. So use it for what it's worth. Or I guess you'd say it the opposite. I could use a screwdriver as a screwdriver, but if I turn it around and try to bang some shit with it, it's not going to work as well. It's going to be a waste of time, like fucking around on social media for no reason.
Yeah, and it's good to have examples. It's like, I looked at this guy, Grant Cardone, I'm like, dude, if this guy has this much following, what's stopping me from doing it?
Yeah.
You know, it's a free platform, first of all. It's free. So even if you don't got any money when you start, then, you know, that leads to new avenues. You know what I mean? I agree with you. I've made some of my best friends are on social media. Like, and I've been able to meet some of them in person. And it's been really cool because I feel like it, you know, it's a little harder in person to go out and meet people that are like you, because I don't know, it's just optimized so perfectly, I think, with what pages you like, what your interests are, your mutual friends. It's so easy that it just does all the hard work for you, and you can work smart, you know?
Absolutely.
Like, no one wants to go out to a bar or freaking Whole Foods and, hey, will you be my friend? No, you just click a button and message them, hey, what are you up to? What industry are you in? What's your passions? This and that. It's like, I don't want to take the time to go to Whole Foods and go around looking like a weirdo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. You're hanging at Whole Foods trying to network. You're going to end up in the back of a van.
Yeah. I don't know. You probably go to the Whole Foods in the hood, and you never know what could happen.
I don't think they have Whole Foods in the hood, man. They charge too much for that shit.
Probably. They got half
Boys,
food.
they don't have Whole Foods in the hood. That's hilarious, dude. Okay, so hang tight here with me for a minute, and then if anybody else wants to hop on here and do the damn thing and ask questions, you just let me know.
Dude, they need to start doing like 4 screens at one time. Like
dude,
I bet that's the next thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it should be. It definitely
that's
should
when
be.
it's gonna get real. It will, because I tried to do something like this a year ago with my friend Travis Proziak. He's in Enagic. And we were like, and this was before like the other split screen platforms like Zoom and I forget the Live Me or whatever. And we did a Skype, and I recorded it on the computer, and then I uploaded it to Facebook. And I was like, this is so freaking hard. Like, why doesn't Facebook just come out with a feature like this? And then they finally did, and I was late on it, and I was like, oh, cool, you know. But they seem to almost be behind the curve with it.
Yeah, and I think
it's funny because you wouldn't think they would be.
They see if there's a market for it, and then they just come in and dominate it. That's really what happens. Because I stopped.
Yeah, I went on the app the other day, got updated, and now they have TV shows on one of the buttons, and I'm going, you know, they're trying to probably dominate YouTube because they don't own it.
Yeah, and with 8 out of 10 Americans on Facebook, it's everybody's there, everybody's here, so it's it'd be silly not to. So we got 13 people on here. The Titan just joined. Did it work? I think that's what it is, dude. Did you try capitalizing the G? What up, Titan? So yeah, if nobody has any questions and wants to hop on here, then we can. If you don't have any more questions, we can call it a wrap.
But there's questions for it. Come on. Can you hear me, man?
That's funny. Yesterday when I put that out, you hit me up, somebody else hit me up and actually was like, hey, you should do a live with my boss. So now, for that reason right there, and put that out, some random person that owns some company that we could potentially do some business together is doing it. Jerry Acuff is in here. If you guys
It's
don't
a
know,
great rapport building tool. I can see your body language. You can see mine.
absolutely.
We're sharing our life, some of our life stories, our opinions, our viewpoints. It's the best tool ever, man.
Absolutely. So check this out. So Jerry Acuff is in here. I don't know if you guys know who Jerry Acuff is, but Jerry Acuff is a sales legend, sales training legend, sales legend, big time dude. He's got a system with us here at Lightspeed. So if you want to learn something about sales, everything about sales, I would tell you that Jerry Acuff was your guy. So there's Jerry Acuff VT. If you go to jerryacuff.com, it's probably the website. Go check that out. He's like an older gentleman that has been through all of the major sales trainers, the Eras, the Zigs, the Tom Hopkins, all of that. And I never heard of the dude. You might have heard of the dude. And then all of a sudden he's over here and I'm watching some of his stuff and I met him and listening to him in the studio. And he is sharper than shit. That guy knows his stuff, totally unassuming. And I think he'd probably agree with me when I said that salespeople are made. You're not born a salesperson. Salespeople are made. It's a skill that's honed. Athletes are born, but a pro athlete is made.
I like that. It looks like Frank Sell might want to interrogate you.
Frank does? Of course he does.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that. But yeah, it's nice to see Jerry in here. He's a good dude. So anybody who's watching this that hasn't heard of Jerry Acuff, go check Jerry out. You will not regret it whatsoever. But Logan, I'm going to tap you out and I'm going to let the armored up man, the beard man, come in here and do this.
I'll be watching, man. Thanks a lot. I
appreciate it, dude. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Bro. All right. Seller Be Sold wants in on this. I'm looking for you. There you go. Can't invite guests. Frank cannot be invited for whatever reason. What's your email? Your charger? Charger over here. We're doing all kinds of stuff all at the same time. All right, sorry about that. Does anybody else want to get in here and ask questions? No such thing as a natural salespeople. Yeah, I mean, some people are naturally better with people, but it's a skill that's learned for sure. It's taught. What's up, Jason? Invite me. Lawrence wants in. Okay. There's something about like being put on the spot and asking or answering random questions that you didn't know were coming that's enjoyable. What up?
What's going on, man? How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm trying to figure out this camera looking. They tell me turn it sideways, and normally it's standing straight up, and I'm like, what? I can't see.
Yeah, turn it sideways. Split screen. So when you do something with somebody else, always turn it sideways. That way you're equal parts on the screen, and it's not like the FaceTime look with the little thing up in the corner.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, man, I appreciate you, man, for doing this and all that stuff. And I'm trying to learn from you guys about being a salesman. That's something that I know that I'm not good at. I'm working at it. And so one of the things that I have, trouble with is closing. I hear everybody talk about closing, but I'm so friendly, man, and I just keep over talking it. And it's like, how do I get to that point where I can get people to go ahead on and, like one of my friends say, swipe or sign the contract?
Well, okay, so closing is sexy, right? Everybody wants to talk about closing. Like apparently if you're a closer, it makes you, obviously that's when the money's exchanged is at the close. So I get that. But I think people overinflate what it takes to close the deal. And I think it just depends on what it is that you're selling. I think that if you present your solution to their problem in a way where you've addressed exactly what the issue is, and we're talking a smooth sale here, not talking about objections and fake objections and how to find the real one. Like we're just going straight. If you know what you're doing, if you know your product, if you're sold on your product and you can identify their problem and solve it, then the close is just the natural thing that comes next. And it doesn't have to be all catchy and wordy, and you don't have to, you know, bend somebody's arm. If you got to bend somebody's arm too much, they probably shouldn't be buying what you're selling. Just my opinion. I use the same similar clothes most of my career. Is what would stop us from moving forward.
Gotcha.
Literally is that simple. So you're telling me that if I can do X, that we have a deal?
Gotcha.
What are they going to
Okay.
say? I know I just said that was my problem, but it ain't really my problem. Okay, cool. So if that ain't the problem, so then what is the problem? So then you're getting into identifying the difference between a real objection and just a stall. And sometimes you run into a situation where the deal's not closable. So I think the close is so elusive, and everybody, you know, talks about how you got to be a closer and this and that. I think that the fortune is in the prospecting. Are you talking to somebody who needs what you have? You can solve their problem. They need what you have. They have the ability to make the decision, and they got the freaking money. Because if you're
Gotcha.
somebody who's not qualified, you cannot close them. You can't close somebody that's not qualified to buy what you got, right?
Right. Gotcha. So do you build, like, I hear people say, you know, build rapport. I'm pretty good at building rapport. I'm a huge people person, but do you build like like value first, like as much as you can, and then just go ahead on and just boom, hit them up right there, or how would you kind of structure it out?
I mean, like I said, I'd structure it out where first learning how to identify who it is that should be doing business with you and that they're qualified, and then building rapport along the way, figuring out, asking them questions. Selling isn't telling, right? Selling is asking questions and getting answers, and then catering your next question to that, or explaining how that answer is going to solve their question, and your answer to it solves the problem. I think that the close is just the natural thing that comes next. And
Gotcha.
you know, when you said at the beginning that people talk right through the close, like, that is absolutely true. Once you ask the question that requires an answer, the first one that talks loses.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I'm kind of like that person too. Like I'm the one to be the first one to talk, because I feel like in my head I feel like I should say more or I should do more, and it's like, hold up, you know, and like, okay, cool. And by that time they're like, okay, cool, we're rolling, you know, and it's like, you know, and I hate it, because, you know, what I'm doing is I'm trying to get into companies and, you know, really, you know, speak to them on a level of motivation and stuff like that as I build products. But it's like, you know, I was like, okay, how do I just like be quiet and see if they're really going to get me to come in? And so that's the thing that I was doing. And it's like, but I feel like I didn't give enough.
Well, because you're not confident in them actually being interested in what you have. So you feel like you have to continue to explain yourself. But what you need to do is get comfortable asking uncomfortable questions, and
Okay.
get comfortable with not responding until you get an answer.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Well, that'll work, man. Appreciate it. You know me. I'm gonna go work on it. You just gave me marching orders, sir.
Go check out Jerry's system, Jerry Acuff.
Gotcha.
Go check it out. I mean, look him up. He probably doesn't have a big YouTube thing going just yet, but he's a good dude, and you'll resonate really well with him. With what you're doing, and you're trying to get in and get these companies to hire you to come in and motivate their people, I'd be asking them questions like what are you charging, right? What are you charging for? I'm not going to ask you live. Like, I don't know if you want to talk about that, but let's just say I'm charging you $100 to come in and talk to your people. So ask them questions like, do you think that a motivated employee is more productive?
Gotcha.
What's the answer going to be? No, I don't think a motivated employee is more productive. Well, if they don't think that, either they're lying or they're not somebody you want to do business with, because they're just trying to churn them and burn them and get them out. You can ask a set of qualifying questions with what you're doing that justifies the employees taking the time out of whatever they were doing to be in front of you, so that then they can go back into the field and be more productive. Like, you're not going to teach anybody anything or much in a live environment. You're going to expose them to information. You're going to inspire them. You're going to give them some motivation that can go out and increase productivity. So you're not trying to go in there and train them and teach them anything. Maybe they pull a nugget. Maybe they take a nugget away, but that's about it. So sit down and just think of all of the possible objections that you can get for what you're doing, and then come up with answers that like you rehearse them. You know what the answer is automatically. You don't even have to think about it. You know it cold. That, in my opinion, in my experience, every product, every sale, every company only has a handful of objections that you'll have to come across. And as long as you are armed with the answers to those objections, then it's the logical, and when you're prospecting correctly, a close is just the logical next step.
Gotcha. Cool, man. Appreciate it, man. Hey, like I said, I stole this from you, man. Bringing people in, man. It's pretty cool, man. I love it, man. It actually helps sharpens me when I ask people to throw questions out there, and I use that to really sharpen my skills, to keep me quick, on my feet, so that when I am doing a speaking engagement, if someone comes up with questions or I open up for Q&A and they want to ask me about what I just spoke about, it keeps me on my toes, keeps me quick. So you really exposed me to this, and so I use it quite a bit, about bringing people in and asking people to tag in and all that stuff. So, hey, appreciate you, man, on that.
Yeah, dude. That's why it's nothing, man. It's no problem. That's what I did.
Yes, sir.
Was I'm used to putting people on the spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said, you always putting people on the spot and asking people questions. Why don't you get put on the spot? Why don't you get asked questions? Okay, cool. Don't even tell me what questions you're going to ask me. Let's do it live in front of however many people want to watch, and ask me whatever the hell you want to ask me, because it keeps you sharp, man. I want to stay sharp. I want my brain to be working and functioning properly. And you can't do that in your comfort zone. Like how do I get uncomfortable? Right?
Mm-hmm.
That talks about it all the time. A lot of people talk about it all the time. You got to get uncomfortable.
Right.
So what would make me uncomfortable? This doesn't really make me too uncomfortable, but it's a lot more uncomfortable than just being in control of the situation, because then I'm in control of it.
Right. Cool. Well, I ain't gonna hog up the screen. It look like some more people want to get in. I hope Frank can tap in, man. Hey, appreciate you, man. Hey, be good out there, man. Be safe out there.
Absolutely, bro. I'll see you. I'll be on the hustle here in 15 minutes. So I think I'll tag you out. I'll tag one more in, and then I gotta go.
All right, cool. That'll work.
Thanks for jumping in.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So I will tag one more in here with a question. We probably don't have a whole lot of time. Frank Sagasta wants in. Oh, that was probably it, dude. I probably thought he meant Frank Sell, and he meant Frank Sagasta. Coach is being tagged. But yeah, I mean, that's the only reason I did this, was just let's shake it up. Let's do something a little bit different. Because every time that somebody's asked me,
what up, man?
What up, bro?
What's going on?
Every time somebody's asked me to like be on a podcast or be on a live stream, it's like this. It's canned. It's the same kind of questions. You don't really have to think. You have default answers. So how do we make it interesting, right? Well, I don't want to know anything, and random people can come in. So Frank, I got to do Home of the Hustle in 15 minutes. So I wanted to pull you in here. If you had questions or whatever, we can bang out a couple questions, and then I'm gonna have to roll. So I want to apologize on the front end, cutting you short if I have to cut you short, but I got to get in the studio and hit the button again.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good. So, I mean, talk about business, a lot of people don't understand profit versus revenue. So can you express what the difference is?
Well, revenue is whatever the dollars are sold. Profit's the dollars that are made.
Why is it so hard for people to understand that?
Because people don't look at margins. People look at, I sell this bottle of water. I buy this bottle of water for $3 as a consumer. This is what we look at. I buy this bottle of water for $3, and not understanding that it probably only costs some change.
Mm-hmm.
And if I put the Fiji label on it, that damn thing's probably worth $5, right? Or you on the opposite end and people say, I want to sell a book. I want to sell books. And then they don't realize that I sold $1 million worth of books, but you made 50 cents a book, or you made 25 cents a book, or whatever it ends up being. I think it's just a disconnect between a consumer mindset and a business mindset. Because I don't think do business people actually not revenue?
You know what? It's amazing. This is going into my second question for you. Is what do you think about people who, well, let's just for instance say me. Let's say I work for Uber. Am I considered an entrepreneur? Am I considered a business?
That's a very interesting question, because I wrestle with this one myself. I think that if an Uber person is considered an entrepreneur, which I wouldn't consider them an entrepreneur, then a network marketer would be considered an entrepreneur. A salesperson that works on commission, that would make me an entrepreneur, if that's the premise. And I'm not an entrepreneur. I didn't develop a business and grow it. I came into a business that was built by an entrepreneur. I win when I make myself win, but that does not make me an entrepreneur, not in my mind. That is not how I look at it. If somebody else built the vehicle, and look, if we go down the rabbit hole, we're going to find out that nobody built the vehicle.
Right.
Did Bradley built this company? Did he invent?
Right.
No, he didn't. Yep. Training, right? Jason Daniels owns an electrical company. If there wasn't electricity and somebody hadn't developed that, then he couldn't have a business. Yeah. But that's like way over here. But I agree 100%. Or I'm agreeing with myself, and I think you agree with me too, based on your experience.
I do.
We're not.
You know, I believe that with everything that I've learned through Og Medino is an entrepreneur is a person who takes the risk, just like would any person with MLM. You know, is really taking a risk. You know, as a business owner, taking a risk, and that's what I look at. An affiliate is kind of like what I do with Dr. Eric Thomas or Grant Cardone. Even Get That Tea is I'm affiliate. So I still make a residual income from that. But, you know, even then it's like, you know, that's really not the whole key to, of saying, hey, I'm an entrepreneur. All right, man. So next question. Do you think a person should get into business being in debt?
How much debt?
Let's just throw a number out there. Let's say $20,000 already in debt.
Yes.
Get into business.
On the business.
Okay. All right. Cool.
And
love it.
I think it depends on the business, because if you're in debt 20 grand and what you're going to go into business doing can produce that revenue and get you out of the hole. And also debt is, depending on the debt, how real is debt? How real is debt? Because I got some debt, man. I owe some people some money from when I was younger. And that shit does not stop me from moving forward. Add the interest, do whatever you're going to do. I'm going to call Rondi Lambeth and we're going to handle this thing. But
right.
It's the debt's not, it's not real.
Good.
I guess that would be my answer. But I want to touch back on what you were talking about with MLMs and being an entrepreneur and the risk, right? So a network marketer, great business. You can make tons and tons of money. I'm not discrediting network marketing at all. I think it's awesome. The keys to the kingdom are too cheap. And that's why people don't value it. If I go out and start a construction company, I'm risking my life. If I go buy a bunch of health supplements, I'm risking a check. Like a small amount of money. There's not enough risk there. And that's the beauty of why you can get in and grow a business and grow a substantial income. But I think that it's so sexy and everybody wants to be a freaking entrepreneur now that they get I'm not an entrepreneur. Like, dude, who cares? Call me whatever you want. Just send me my money.
Hey, so, all right, man. So how big is advertising to any business? This is something that I've been dealing with a lot of small businesses, even big businesses. How important is it to advertise? And should you, two-part question, and should you always, every year, set aside a dollar amount for advertising?
100%, 1,000,000%. Look, this is what I talk about on a daily basis here at Lightspeed, is if you aren't willing to market, I will not do business with you. Because I could have the greatest information and the greatest product in the world. Michael Jordan's probably not the greatest basketball player that ever lived. It's some dude that never advertised, that never put himself out there, that no one ever found out about. You want to be the best kept secret, or you want to be one in everybody's face? Like, I could sell you, if I advertised this empty cup of coffee, right, or whatever, and I knew who my target audience was, I knew what they wanted to hear, and I knew how to get in front of them, then I could sell them a worthless product and make a bunch of money. It won't be residual. It won't go on. Greatest thing on earth, and if nobody knows about it, then it's worthless. So you should set aside a certain amount of money. You should hire a marketing team. You should hire a marketing department, people who aren't playing with billboards and paper ads, people that are going digital, that are fluid and moving and doing things in different ways. Like, I look at what I do here on Facebook as marketing. It's advertising. That's why you'll notice the way I post, it'll change. Like, okay, what do people like? Do I put the color background now? Like, I'm doing the color background thing right now. I wasn't doing that before. Well, people are starting to like that. Live video. What do we talk about? Do we interview people? Are we just going to go off the cuff? Like, constantly adapting and changing to the environment is how you continue to go. It's like in the gym. I'm not a big gym guy. I should be, but not a big gym guy. If you do the same workout over and over again, you're going to hit a plateau and nothing's going to change. So you have to continue to adapt and change, just like you would with your body in a marketing scenario. And that's just my take.
And real quick, note when you talk about that change, I automatically compare that to the trend, because what a lot of businesses don't do is they don't find a trend. They stay stuck in a rut, and so that's why they get that stagnant, that average style mindset and average sell tactics, instead of thinking of a trend to get outside that box and really break the comfort and really make some sales and really make some money and really make an impact. You know, there's a big difference there when you find a trend. All right, man, last question. So, what was it? Now, it just slipped my tongue. All right, man.
All right, that's good, because I got 4 minutes to get in the studio and hit the hustle.
All right, brother. Hey, I appreciate you. Hiking weather's coming up, man.
Yeah.
I'll be in Vegas. We're going to rock and roll.
Yeah, dude, get out here and let's do it. Hey, I'm headed over into the studio to go do Home of the Hustle. If you guys haven't liked the page yet, go like the Home of the Hustle page. I'm about to be live with my boy Trent in 4 minutes on Home of the Hustle. Check it out, share it out. It's going to be great. We're talking about social media, organic social media growth. I mean, I don't know nothing. I don't know anything that I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm doing. This dude knows what's up. So he's in here in studio with me. Go check it out. Hop in there. I'll be there in 5 minutes. I'll see you guys there. Peace. I appreciate you guys being in here and taking in all the BS that comes out of my mouth. Peace.